think the big focus is going to be on those banks today, CBA in particular, with the appointment of a new chief executive. Well, for more on that, James Gerrish from Shaw and Partners joins us live from Sydney. James, great to have you on board this morning, and thank you for joining us. I'd love to just start off with your thought on CBA. This is something we have been expecting last week. There were some reports that we would see a new CEO being announced before their result after an extensive global and local search. It looks like they've gone for an internal candidate, Matt Comyn. What have you made of the news this morning?
Yeah, good morning to you, Leanne. Yeah, a reasonably surprise announcement by CBA. It was pretty much muted that they were likely to go to an external candidate. As you made mention of, they had a global search. Matt was always in the running, I should say that, in the first instance. I guess the market was probably more or less expecting that he would be 5 years away from taking the top job. He's in his early 40s, I should say. He's been at the bank since 1999. He's got a really strong track record within the bank, very well regarded. But I think it was, it was pretty much safe to say that the market was expecting an external candidate, given the internal issues that CBA has had recently. So a little bit of a surprise, and it'll be interesting, as you say, to see how the market takes it. But he's a very strong candidate, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I wanted to actually ask that, how you think the market will take it, given that it has come as a bit of a surprise. Do you think we could see a surprise reaction at the open there on those CBA shares?
Yeah, I think you may see that in terms of what the market does. The market may be lower on the fact that they have gone internally rather than externally. There was a pretty well regarded, obviously it's a very sought after job leading Australia's largest bank. It was a well contested, obviously, process of going through to find that right person. I think it's a really good show of confidence internally within CBA. I mean, if you've got the talent internally, it's obviously the easier option, in my view, would have been to go externally and take some of the heat off the off CBA. Saying that we've found an external CEO, the culture is going to change as a result of that. I think it's a bold move going internal, but I think it's a really strong move from CBA, and it shows, if you've got the talent within, age is not a hurdle to bring someone up into the top job. Ian the Rev was a reasonably young CEO when he joined, and he's done, in my view, an incredible job. And I think Matt is in a similar stage, early 40s, very hungry, really strong track record, knows the bank very well. So, look, I think it's a good move by CBA from my stance.
Yes. Look, you say there, obviously, it is a well sought after position, but you'd also have to say an exceptionally tough job. Certainly at a time, as you say, where they are facing those internal issues, reputational damage, cultural problems and so forth. In terms of how Ian the Rev will be leaving, what sort of legacy do you think he'll leave behind?
That's a tough question. Me personally, I've met him a number of times, and the track record in terms of the bank operationally and the financial metrics that he's leaving the bank is in incredibly strong shape. So from that regard, I understand that there's been reputational issues that have played out over recent times, and I understand that's the reason that he's leaving. But I think that's a small part of the legacy that he will leave. I think the overall or overarching takeaway from Ian's time at CBA is that he's left an incredibly strong bank. It's been difficult conditions to operate a bank in, and I think it gets better from here for CBA, and I think it gets better from here for the rest of the bank. So, I think Matt's coming in at a time which is arguably a little bit less complicated, etc., from an external point of view than when Ian came in. That said, running any large enterprise, any large ASX-listed company is an incredibly complicated role. There's no doubt, no two ways about that. So, look, it'll be a big job for him, but from what I understand about him, I haven't met him personally, but from what I understand about him, he will do a very good job there, Leanne.
Yep. Well, certainly, Catherine Livingstone, CBA chairman, commenting here, saying that under Ian the Rev's leadership, their total shareholder return during his time as CEO is over 120%. So certainly pointing out and thanking him for his leadership at the bank over the last 6 years or so. Look, James, really appreciate getting your thoughts on that, particularly given it is, just breaking. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.